Your microphone. Yeah, welcome to Sports Jazz for another stream. Things are happening fast at Manchester United. We have left. Dan Ashworth was sacked, or he mutually left Man United. But it's mixed feelings. It's mixed feelings. It's too soon for Ineos. We're not performing that well on the pitch, and yet so many things are happening behind the scenes. When Ineos acquired a minority stake at Manchester United, they insisted that managing the football affairs of the club was integral to their decision. Sir Jim Ratcliffe believes having a clear idea, the right people with the right tools to consistently deliver that idea, a thirst for marginal gains and progressive thinking, plus streamlined decision making will ultimately result in winning. The things that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has done so far at Manchester United, you can argue that he has the best interests of the club at heart, because much as he just acquired a small stake in the club, he did whatever it took to improve the product on the pitch. That is by having this new structure at the club that was going to help any new manager who was going to come in. Sir Dave Brailsford, the director of sport at Ineos, he's a guy who has had success in sports before. I mean, the British 2008 and 2012 success in the with the bikes. I mean, Ineos did have some success there, and he's the guy who was tasked with doing so many things at the club to ensure that we have a proper structure that can be able to help us to run the club. So Sir Dave Brailsford's job is much more than an administrative role at the club. And as such, he's tasked with the mandate to instill a winning ethos at Manchester United through the different departments in your structure. That's how he got to have. That's how we got to have Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, Christian Vivel, and guys like that to come into the club. And as we saw that these are the guys who were the best in class from wherever they came. So we did hope that having such people at the club was going to help us to do things much better. But just 5 months into the new season, and Dan Ashworth, a guy who was whose pursuit took so long and was a bit costly because we had to pay huge compensation to Newcastle United for his services, has left the club. It is believed that there are so many things that were not going according to plan with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He did not like the manner in which Dan Ashworth was going about his business. Dan Ashworth, as the director of sport at the club, was basically in charge of, among other things, the recruitment of players in the summer. So that one summer that he had, he did bring in 5 players, and it was a good feeling at the time, because at least you would see something that was deliberate in the way that he was going after the players that he was going after. Um, the thing that could have brought the thing that could have brought a lot of problems for him was in the differences between Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Dan Ashworth. He did not believe he was the right man for the job because of um, the thing that he did when we hoped to have Eric Ten Hag fired. He's among the people who took the decision to continue with Eric Ten Hag, despite the writing being on the wall that he was not the right man for the job. Everyone did not think that Eric Ten Hag was to stay at Manchester United, but he did stay. At least he steadied. He won us an FA Cup, and on the back of that FA Cup, he kept his job. But there were so many doubters around Eric Ten Hag staying at the club because of the previous season that we had. We didn't think that he was the right guy for the job. But then again, Dan Ashworth, in his wisdom, he chose to outsource a data analytics company to help improve the data analytics of the club. A thing that Sir Jim Ratcliffe was not very comfortable with. He hoped that, a club like Manchester United, especially going through the times that we are going through of transition, that we do things differently, and we get these modern day technologies at the club. Outsourcing was not the answer. And it is rumored that he had a list of players who were available at the time. Sorry, managers who were available at the time. And the list did not impress Sir Jim Ratcliffe, because he said that it is rumored that he had guys like Graham Potter, like Marco Silva, like Thomas Frank, like Gareth Southgate, Eddie Howe, are the guys he had lined up to replace Eric Ten Hag. And I think due to the differences that were there at the time, Omar Berrada, the CEO of the club, took matters in his own hands. I think after getting a nod from Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and went ahead to Portugal to hire Ruben Amorim. It is also rumored that Ruben Amorim was a choice of Jim Ratcliffe and Omar Berrada. Dan Ashworth did not participate a lot in that acquisition, as he had hoped that other players, other managers had a better chance at managing Manchester United at the time. So for me, Dan Ashworth has left the club, but I am not I'm not beaten that Ashworth has gone, despite Ashworth being the best in class and having achieved a lot of success from wherever he was. It is good that Manchester United is making these decisions early. They are very, very costly decisions, but I do believe that it is important for Manchester United to make these decisions early, because then you can move on and you can hope to find better people to work with to achieve the objective that you want to achieve. I'm happy that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is not shy to ruffle some feathers for as long as the interests of Manchester United are the ones that are at the forefront. So yes, Dan Ashworth has gone. He's a good guy, but personally, I always had reservations on Dan Ashworth because I believe that this guy who had a good relationship with Gareth Southgate to manage Manchester United, I think, which I do not believe would have helped the club in any way. So for me, Dan Ashworth leaving the club is not a major blow. One can only argue that maybe Ineos is failing at Manchester United because it's just 5 months in, and they've backtracked on two decisions they've done. They did make the decision to keep Eric Ten Hag. A few months into the season, he was fired. Ruben Amorim was hired, and then again they did get Dan Ashworth has also left the club, a guy they pursued for so long. So I mean, the failures of Ineos could be looked at in there from the point of view of these decisions have been very costly to the club because Eric Ten Hag had to be paid a compensation to leave Manchester United. Ruben Amorim had, Sporting CP had to be paid a compensation for Ruben Amorim to come in right now. I don't know yet if Dan Ashworth has been compensated, but I do know that he left mutually. Yeah. So Isaac, how is
Hi,
Ineos?
hi, hi. Sorry, man. I had connection issues. Apologies
No
to
worries,
everyone.
no
Yeah, but
worries.
glad to be back on the stream. What up, everyone? Please, guys, do not forget subscribe, Josh and Isaac. And we are looking at Dan Ashworth today being sacked, as Josh has been saying. I mean, what a tough decision that was, Josh. But besides being tough, it was very, 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 very ruthless. I find it very ruthless of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But again, it looks like it's a decision that he had to do. So I can't really blame him because me, from my side, of course, we know he did so well at teams like West West Bromwich. He did so well at Brighton. Did even way better at Newcastle, but things, United is a bigger team, a huge team. So with such a team, results are needed very fast, especially with the turbulences that the team has been going through. Now, I don't know, Josh, whether you also explained. We understand he was also one of the reasons as to why Eric Ten Hag stayed and was given an extension, even when Ineos was into the market. Sorry, during the summer, trying to get another manager. That's what I understand. Rumors from what I've been reading from David Ornstein through Twitter. It looks like he was the man behind Ten Hag staying. Initially Ten Hag should have been fired right after the FA Cup, but Dan Ashworth was the man behind. Ten Hag got an extra year extension, and that cost Man United when Ten Hag was being fired. He got approximately between 15 and 17 M. Now, as for Dan Ashworth, I don't know whether he's going to be also paid or compensated, but still it baffles and it's a bit shocking for Ineos to be that ruthless, carrots of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, to sack him.
I don't think they're ruthless. I think they're doing the right thing for the club.
No, just that is ruthless. Yeah, it's
It
right,
is
but
not
it's a bit
ruthless.
ruthless.
It
Hi,
is not
Sinan. What up,
ruthless.
Sinan?
Yo,
Josh,
Sinan, it's not
Josh,
ruthless. You're doing the right thing for the club. You want the
do,
best for the club. So, I
do you know what
mean,
I'm
are
saying? It's
you?
ruthless.
Yes, no.
Do you know the amount of time, the pressure Ineos went through just to get the services of Dan Ashworth?
Yeah, and it didn't
Not
work
forget,
out. I
not
mean,
forgetting buying out his contract and everything. I think they
yes,
paid
it
close to
did
2 to
not.
3 M.
yes, it did not
But
work out. So what do
the
you
time they
do?
took to get him on board to join Man United as
Exactly.
a sporting
Because
director
he's the
is
best in
even
class.
way longer compared to the 5 months and 7 days he has been at the club.
No, 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 no. He's the best. He is the best in class. He's good at the work that he does. It's just that at this time when he came in, maybe too many cooks spoiled the broth because maybe he was working with just too many people and it's not his modus operandi. However, you cannot say that it was ruthless, him being escorted out of the door after 5 months when he was not delivering what Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe envisioned they would be getting. So, I mean, for me, if the decision has been made because of sporting reasons, then he should go. He should be. He should leave. Besides, I always told you I never really. I admire the work that he has done. I was so excited that we did get him, but I was always worried about his relationship with
Southgate.
English
And
managers
yes, you
like
talked about it. I remember you
Southgate
talked
and
about it
Graham Potter.
before Amarim. Yeah, you talked about it before Amarim had been appointed, or before Amarim's appointment as Manchester United head coach. But that is also part of the rumors that
Yeah, right now
Amarim,
we are
sorry,
fishing. Right
Dan
now we are
Ashworth
fishing.
wanted an English manager to take charge of Manchester United, and of course his candidates were the first one, as per David Einstein of the Athletic. He says his
Eddie
candidates
Howe.
were actually those are three. It was
Eddie
Southgate,
Howe,
Graham
Southgate,
Potter, and Eddie
Graham
Howe.
Potter, Marco
Bro, I read
Silva,
that.
and Thomas Frank.
That's and sorry, Omar Berada was way against it. Of course, with Sir, there's another gentleman, Brailsford, who was also against the whole appointment of an English, or okay, any of those that we've been mentioned. And Ruben Amorim has Omar Berada all around it. In fact, Dan Ashworth was left in the dark or wasn't given a lot of information when this appointment was coming through. And we understand that's the job of the sporting director, Josh, at any
That's
club.
why.
But so
That's when they
those are
had
some of the
decided.
reasons. Yeah, sorry, Josh.
That's when they had decided that he was leaving the club because all the things that Sir Jim Ratcliffe said in his interview before we played Nottingham Forest, they are the mooted reasons for why he left the club. So, I mean, it has been in the pipeline that he would eventually leave the club. And for me, I don't have a problem with Ashworth leaving the club if a working relationship was not there, because you can only progress if you have people that you're working with who are all together. Then if they're not, then it can never work. I remember a time Tottenham Hotspurs, I think, brought in a sporting director. It wasn't common for sporting directors to be in the English game for a while. But I remember Spurs brought in a sporting director and he clashed with the manager. One of them had to leave. There's no way it was ever going to work. So for me, if Omar Berada and Dan Ashworth are clashing, I mean, let the lesser guy go.
Well, from what I read from Adam Crafton, he says friction was also apparent. Friction was also apparent when Ashworth proposed bringing in a data company to evaluate the candidates to replace Ten Hag. Ratcliffe was said to have reacted badly, countering that it was Dan Ashworth's job to know such matters rather than outsource, making questions while him making
Exactly.
question United's in-house capabilities. So I think we see some of the reason as to why this
Actually,
ruthless decision
yeah, that
it
is
was
the
taken,
reason I
Josh.
tried to elucidate earlier. Uh, I mean, for a sporting director at the club, you can argue that United is in a very bad shape. That maybe these facilities were not there at the club, But the first
Yeah.
proposal of the sporting director is to make sure that we improve ourselves and have these data analytics things in place. But my reading of that information, I did believe that Dan Ashworth was green on what to do next. He did not really have someone in mind, and he hoped to use to outsource a data analytics company to do the job for him. I think which didn't sit down very well with Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
It's just quite funny how just let's look at what Dan Ashworth had done in his 5 months and 7 days at Manchester United. Especially, we are going to focus on the signings, Josh. We understand he did some good business. Some would call it good, others no. He brought in Josh Zirkzee. Josh,
The
I
jury
think
is still out.
of all the signings so far, he's one of the signings that one would have questions about, one that would doubt whether he's going to make it
Why?
through. But no, Josh, that's me. That's my take.
Okay,
Because I
yeah.
think Ugarte is being brilliant. The league looks solid and is growing to know how to fit into the club very well. Of course, Mazarawi, to me, he's the unsung hero, best signing of the season. Then we have players like which other player, Josh? I'm forgetting a player.
Lenny
Lenny
Yoro.
Euro. Lenny Euro. That kid will be a superstar. I'm telling you, he'll be a superstar. But with Joshua Zirkzee, I mean, there are question marks over his signing, Josh. There are question
No.
marks. You cannot tell me Joshua Zirkzee
Yo,
is.
the question
Josh,
marks have been
do you think
created
he's
in
a
the
better? Do
minds.
you think he's a better? Do you think he's a better striker than Rasmus Holland? Do you think he's an upgrade?
Yes.
I don't think he is. Than
No, he's
Rasmus?
another type of player. He's another type of player. It is a profile of a player that was needed at the club. By the way, for me, I don't buy into that rubbish because I mean it's easy to pick on Joshua Zirkzee because he doesn't have 20 goals at this stage of the season, or he doesn't have 10 goals at this stage of the season. But it's the same thing with player with praising Arsenal's Mikel Arteta and his style of football, and then calling him out for playing Kai Havertz as his striker. That's the striker that he wants to play with. So, I mean, for me, having Joshua Zirkzee in the side, you can see that even this manager loves the player, and he has managed to use the player, and the player is playing well. But it's easy. Joshua Zirkzee is just the easier target of all the signings that were made to actually talk about as a guy who was not flourished, because not many fans and pundits do understand a half nine, a 9.5. They do want Emil Heskey. They want Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
A
They
Drogba.
want a guy who is going to come and score goals.
Mm.
So they don't understand having a striker who is a facilitator.
Sinan says Ashworth benefited from all deals he was involved in, most especially Ten Hag's contract extension. Sinan, but I'm happy for Amarim. I'm with him. I'm with him no matter how many times we lose. At least I see what he's cooking. Yeah, I'm also. I think majority everyone right now is riding. Most fans are riding with Amorim because clearly, judging with what we saw over the weekend against Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford, there is no way you can put all the blame on the manager. Maybe yes, he tickled around too much with his lineup, but I mean the individual mistakes, the players from Onana, the goals. Then we see the awful defending. Then we see players like Garnacho not executing. We see players like Dallo out of 9 crosses, 0 successful crosses. So yeah, I stand with you, Sinan, when I say that. Josh, well, let's move on, Josh. We've seen Ruud van Nistelrooy leave, Ren Hako leave, Ten Hag, of course, some other managers also, rather coaching, assistants behind Ten Hag were also dismissed a few months later. Now, Dan Ashworth, who has been sacked just after 5 months. one might say it's not a good look for Ineos because uh, at one point, Anis fan mentioned that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has a reputation of sacking people very quickly, especially if they're not delivering results. In other words, he doesn't give second chances. Now, of course, you can always sack someone. It's okay if they're not delivering, but when do you do it and how do you do it, Josh? I think, I don't know whether he was trying to make a statement right after the Nottingham Forest game
No,
that he had to be sacked.
no, it was
Roma is
premeditated.
this was a this the Roma is this was a decision that had been already decided, even if it was a win at Nottingham, rather at Manchester at Old Trafford against Nottingham Forest. Dan Ashworth had to go because of spending almost 200 million pounds, and we are currently in the 13th positions. Being in the 13th position, there are little chances that we might, rather, there are higher chances that we might finish, Josh, in the bottom half of the table. And as Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants things to go, I don't think that really, I don't think he likes that, because he said Manchester United must have the best recruitment in the world. You can't just flick a switch and sort out recruitment. It's all about players, and we need to find the right players. He went on to talk about the data analytics at Manchester United, of which he said they're way stone age. Now, that very part is where Dan Ashworth was expected to work on. And you see, if one says Jim Ratcliffe was not happy with Ashworth proposing to get a company to do the data analytics of the manager to replace Ten Hag, yet that is his profession, that is his field. Maybe to some point, Josh, I do understand.
I understand 100% because even the recruitment strategy, we were not talking about. It's broader when they tell you he was concerned with the recruitment strategy. It does not mean the recruitment of the players that were brought in or the players that went out. He's
But
talking
Josh, again,
about
he's not a
the,
recruitment specialist.
no. Wait,
Oh, he wasn't, Ashworth.
he's talking about the strategy. The strategy. The sports director has to have a strategy on how things are going to work at the club in all the aspects of the football that is delivered on the pitch. So, I mean, if it does not have a recruitment strategy, or if that strategy is not convincing that United will change the way we are doing things, then he was
But
right to go. Because if you tell me that his recruitment strategy was to go and pay 90 million to get Mbappe or things like that, then that is not a strategy at all.
Josh, his job was not recruitment. It was to set us up for the future.
No.
A job that could not really be judged in a few months down. It really needs some time.
Look here.
Considering how United is right now, the turmoil we are in, because Dan Ashworth's role is about building the right environment and bringing in specialists. Like, of course, we have players, we have guys like Vivel, who are currently acting as who is currently acting as the sporting director, from what I know, or from what I've read. Vivel, and of course, Vivel was under the recruitment department, Josh. So judging his impact after the 5 months is short-sighted. To me, I think it's a bit short-sighted. Much
Not at
as
all.
no, to me, Josh, honestly, I think it's a bit
You know,
rather
they are
short-sighted.
There are fundamentals. There are fundamentals that that could fail someone from keeping their job. I mean, if fundamentally there was something wrong with the manner in which Dan Ashworth was taking on his role, then he should be fired. He should be relieved of his duties. You don't think that a guy like Jim Ratcliffe, who even paid money for the services of Ashworth, can just wake up on a whim and
But
fire the guy? Maybe it's
it's
just
a bit puzzling,
for,
Josh.
it's not puzzling at all for me
No,
when
it
I tell
is to
you.
me. It is to me. The trouble they went through to get the services of Dan Ashworth, Josh,
yeah,
that he
because
had
he's
even
the
to take
best
a
in
gardening
class.
leave from Newcastle. Okay, Josh, very good. If he's the best in class, I don't think 5 months is enough period to evaluate
No,
him and judge him,
no, look
Josh.
here. Oh,
I
look
don't
here.
believe the media's claims about his dismissal being linked to recruitment is also a bit correct, Josh.
No, you're using
I
you're
find it a
using
bit
the wrong
ridiculous.
word, because when you say
No,
recruitment, then you're looking
yeah,
at the players who are coming in. But
Josh,
recruitment strategy can
okay,
mean that by now, okay, the team is doing this bad. By now, you must have an idea on who you can get in January, how
okay,
feasible it is, who you can get in the summer, if it is possible to get those players in the summer. You at least, it's not that those are the players that will come, because so many things can happen between now and the end of the season. But at least you must have a strategy with you. And this is what Sir Jim Ratcliffe was complaining about. He was not convinced that the recruitment strategy was there from Dan Ashworth to fulfill the to fulfill his obligations at the club.
it's a bit to me. It didn't sit so well with me. I'm not against him being fired if he hasn't delivered, but I just think 5 months are not enough. That period is not enough for the man to show progress. I believe he should have been given maybe Josh 2 seasons,
It
because he
is.
knew why he was bringing it. It was for the long run
Paul
to set up
Scholes
something so fast.
Paul Scholes went into management, and after 2 training sessions, he wanted nothing to do with managing the club that he went to. I mean,
Anyway,
he didn't have to take a whole year for him to make up his mind. It was not
Ashworth
working. It
was,
was just not the right fit.
to me, I think Dan was brought in to establish a robust structure for Man United. Youth development, of course, the men and women's team, sports science. Although now, when it comes to sports science, Ruben Amorim has his man, and of
Paulo
course, commercial.
Barreira.
Yeah, commercial strategy, Josh. I think that is very good. But I also understand Omar Berada can also come in when it comes to commercial strategy. So to me, I think it should have been a long-term vision spanning to maybe 2 to 3 or 4 years, not just 5 months.
Yeah, but
To
what
be honest, I
happens?
find it a bit weak.
But what happens when you have fundamentally failed in your duties?
But
Because
it's
as
a
a
bit tricky,
director
Joe.
of sport, you must give the football club direction. So if you fail to give the football club direction, should we wait for you to, make up your mind after a year? Leave the club.
So in other words, no love lost, no love found. He
No
just
love
had to
lost.
leave.
No love lost. It was just
Yeah.
not the proper fit, and that could happen anywhere. So, it is better that you cut your losses.
Alex Crook of Talk Sports said Dan Ashworth felt sidelined from big decisions at Manchester United almost from day one, with Omar Berada and Sir Dave Brailsford calling the shots. The tipping point was Ruben Amorim's appointment. Ashworth wanted a British coach, Gareth Southgate. That is my only problem. That every time I'm getting a weak spot for him, when I read that, every time I read that, I'm like, okay, see you. Every
I
time
knew
I
that
read
shit
that.
was coming, man.
And I remember you whined about it. You are like, this guy has a very good relationship with Southgate. I read about it
It's
somewhere.
the first
I read
name that
about it.
actually I was praying every night for Eric Ten Hag to not be sacked.
Well, once again, thank you so much for tuning in, Sports Jazz. Josh, let's give them a quick and faster recap about the whole events. Dan Ashworth was appointed as Manchester United sporting director on June 1st, 2024, after a long negotiation process with Newcastle, where he was on a gardening leave. His arrival was seen as a statement move by the new Ineos-led management, especially Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who had publicly praised Ashworth's capabilities. Of course, his initial role was placed in charge of football performance, recruitment, and operations at United. He played a significant role in the summer transfer window, overseeing the spending of approximately £200 million on new signings like Lenny Yoro, Manuel Ugarte, Joshua Zirkzee, De Ligt, Mazarawi, among others. He also had a hand in the decision to extend Eric Ten Hag's contract despite a poor season performance. There are decisions to part ways comes. Despite the initial high expectations, Dan Ashworth left his role just after 5 months and 7 days, with his departure agreed upon in a meeting with CEO Omar Berrada. The decision was described as mutual by the club, but sources indicated Sir Jim Ratcliffe was pivotal in this call to part ways with Dan Ashworth. Then, of course, a source from Manchester United indicated that the relationship between Dan Ashworth had been, or rather, the relationship with the board had been stained and strained for some time. An insider, again familiar with the club operations, commented that there are too many influential figures and egos within the organization, making it inevitable that someone would depart. Then, if I look at the impact managerial changes, Josh, then Dan was involved when Man United decided to sack Ten Hag in October after a poor start of the season. Again, Dan favored a British coach to replace Ten Hag and did not support the appointment of Ruben Amorim. His influence seemed to be wane with the arrival of Ruben Amorim, where Omar Berrada played a more significant role in the managerial change. It is believed that Omar Berrada, Dan Ashworth, had personality clash during their time together at Manchester United. I could go on real quick. In the 10 months of, let's look at the 10 months, Josh, of Ineos. Let's look at the 10 months of Ineos in charge. We are going to look at already, first of all, today, the summer spending, is it the Christmas spending, that happens every year. It was cut off, normal. Then we look at 200 jobs cut in the 10 months.
Yeah.
Of course, Sir Alex Ferguson, I don't want to say sacked, but he was released of his duties. But it's understandable. He's aged, he's old. As the ambassador of the club, of course, Ten Hag sacked,
But
cancelled free tickets.
for me, there are
Just
things
in a
there
minute.
that
Yeah, okay. Say it.
there are things there that are very important. Like I saw Sir Alex Ferguson's ambassadorial role was taken out. I mean, why are we wasting £2 million each year to pay Sir Alex Ferguson to be an ambassador of the club? It goes without saying he's an ambassador of the club.
Correct. And he will always anyway stay, the legend that everyone wants him to stay. So I don't think it's really, although people try to make a big issue out of it, but I mean, the man has already won what he has won, and he has all the respect from all over the sports world. Yeah, Josh, again, increase the price tickets of the funds. The price of the tickets for the funds, canceled free tickets and meals for all staffs. And lastly, sacked sporting director Dan Ashworth.
I didn't hear. Tried to get Ganacho and Minu to jump on a plane of Man City to go for the
Oh
awards.
yeah, there is that to go for the awards.
That was cheap, yo.
I know that was very cheap. That was very, very cheap. But yeah, Josh, that's that's how fast. That's Dan Ashworth in about 3-4 minutes. That's his journey being appointed from Newcastle to Man United. 5 months and 7 days, and all we can say is adios. Thank you. You've done whatever you've done. Well, it looks like the likes of Josh are happy that you've left.
No. I'm not happy. I am just saying that for me, if it is sporting reasons for which Dan Ashworth left the club, I don't have a problem with that. The interview that Sir Jim Ratcliffe gave was before the Nottingham Forest game. So no matter what happened in the Nottingham Forest game, I mean, he had made up his mind by the time he came to give the interview and said the things that he said, that included everything to do with the responsibilities of a director of sport at the club. Then he had already made up his mind.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm trying to see if I could bring on Azizi. I know it's on short notice, Josh. But anyhow, uh, Josh, I'm looking. Then news coming in, of course. Jason Wilcox had struck up a good rapport with Ruben Amorim, interim director of recruitment Christopher Vivel, and interim performance director Sam Erith could see their jobs become permanent. That is according to Adam Crafton of Athletic. Yeah, Josh. So that's the news about Dan Ashworth. Well, as Josh said, no love lost, no love found.
No love
Again, I
lost, no
insist.
love lost.
I still find it a bit brutal. I still find it a bit brutal. Josh, real quick,
Well,
thank you
we're
so
not
much for
here.
tuning in.
We're not here
Sports
to appease
Jazz.
anyone, man. We are doing badly. I mean, things have to change at the club. If tough decisions must be made, thank God that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is around.
Really, and people are saying he looks to be a bad CEO, or rather, bad boss.
A bad boss of what measure? Firing a guy who wanted to bring Gary Southgate. That guy he
Not
should be
letting him,
given a
not
medal.
letting him finish his job.
He should be given a medal. By the time he finished his job, we would have would be like the Liverpool under Douglas,
Josh, come on, that man is a legend.
with so many average. No, when he managed Liverpool, he just brought
I
all the
know,
average
but I'm just
English
saying.
players to the club. Charlie
I'm just saying.
Adam, what? As long as you are average and English, you just ended up at Liverpool.
Josh, again, that that is mean. That is mean. That is mean. Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Sports Jazz, Josh and Isaac. Yeah, we are looking at the sacking of Dan Ashworth. Things have been moving so fast. Well, heads are already rolling. And by the way, this makes a statement, Josh, to everyone that is not serious, to everyone that is mixing around. That goes for Omar Berada too. Omar Berada, if he's playing around, now he knows. You mess around, you leave. Radcliffe is not playing, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The only thing you can say that maybe Ineos is failing at the club is how much money has been spent um, trying to create this proper structure at the club. We've
and it
spent
looks like
quite some
we are
money.
still spending.
You can say we've
Looks like we're
spent
still
about
spending.
30 million.
Looks like we're still spending.
But it's so
Josh,
good.
okay.
It's so good. It's the structure
Nelson,
that's
Nelson,
very important. Hey,
Nelson, good to have
Nelson.
you. Good to have you. I would love to know what he thinks about the sacking of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I want to know
Definitely,
whether
he's going to give it to you.
think he might take your side. I'm not saying he should have stayed. All I'm saying is the way it was done was
Oh, you want
very
a red
ruthless.
carpet?
No, not of course not a red carpet, but
What? They wait
the
until the
manner
end of
in
the
which it
season.
was done. Yeah,
They wait until the end of the season.
maybe. Yeah, because he's
Why?
already
Why?
broke.
You couldn't
I
wait
mean,
for Ten Hag until the end of the season. Why wait
well,
for a
Ten
guy who
Hag
is
had two
failing?
and a half seasons, almost
No,
and a
why
half.
wait for a guy who is failing?
Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Sports Jazz, Josh and Isaac here, rubbing fists about the sacking of Dan Ashworth. But real quick, Josh, we are going to look into the player development. Adieri. Shout outs to you, Adieri. Shout outs to you, Adieri. Sinan says, me and Josh agree with Ineos' decision to sack Ashworth. If you feel it was not trade, go join him and prove to us after 2 years. Like
Hello,
you said, that's
hello.
the new job. Man, this guy is just too ruthless.
A whole 2 years, man, of mediocrity.
Sajim is using try and error method until when we get the right people. We got no time to waste anymore. Well, you guys
We got no
are not
time
in the
to
mood.
dark web, yo.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sinan. Thanks. Thank you, Nelson. Yeah, Josh. I wanted to look at player development under Amorim. How do you see and where do you see this going? Of course, with these new boys that are there. Do you see, when I say development, I don't mean the kids. I'm not talking about youths, but I'm looking like players that have failed already to fit into his system. I say fit because they're not excelling or they're struggling. I look at Dallo. Dallo is still struggling. Um I'm looking at Mason Mount. I thought he's a player who would have clicked right away. In fact, he got showers. He got prizes from Amorim. He said he has two positions for him. He knows this kid very well, ABCD. Then Joshua Zaxi. I know he scored a brace, but I mean, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked out so well yet. Kobe Mino with the performance he had, I don't know how you judge him. Some say he played very well over the weekend against Nottingham Forest. I myself, I don't think he really did so good. Maybe he will adjust with time. We have players, of course, players like I have players that I don't want to talk about in this very situation in terms of development, because with them I expect them to leave. Casemiro, Lindelof, uh, Maguire, all that click, Josh. I expect them to leave. So, do you think under Ruben Amorim, do you see those players that we've mentioned? Do you see them excelling, or is still going to be hard for them? And by next season, some of them also might leave, because we see Real Madrid. It won't go away that Real Madrid is interested in signing Dalot, and if for anything above 40, I'm happy to accept the fee. Dalot can go join them.
Well, I don't know. I don't know where you quickly say that these players have failed under Amorim, because these players have not really had
They're struggling. Okay, they're struggling.
yeah, they are struggling because the whole team is struggling. You have barely seen these players play 2 games back to back. I mean, they just shared minutes since the manager came in. So it is very difficult for us to pinpoint. However, there is one player you've left out that I feel should be the
Don't.
one. No,
No,
I
I
feel
think he's doing so well.
no,
Actually,
he's
I've
so
also
poor.
forgotten. There's
You've
one.
forgotten
Who is
Ganacho.
that? That's what I
Ganacho.
was.
Ganacho is
Josh,
the player
I,
struggling
I think
most with
Ganacho
the
is in that
system.
time. Ganacho is in that
No,
time. We know what
what
he can
time?
give us.
What time?
That low mood self-esteem,
No, nothing.
you know.
Nothing.
But I think with
The
time he's
system
going to
is
come
playing
good,
him.
Josh.
The system is playing him. He's a guy who has played, I think, most minutes since the manager came in, but he has failed to learn what to do. So he's struggling, but I don't think he suits the
Well, I
style
think
of
I think he
football of the
suits. I
manager.
think he just needs a
He
bit of
does
time.
not. He
But
does
right
not.
now, I
But
agree with
he's a
you. If
player
you
who is
say
going to remain at the club.
I agree
So
with you,
no matter what
if you
happens, we
say he
have
should start from the bench until he picks up his phone, that I do, because Josh is going to give you goals. We're even not talking about Rashford. We are not talking about Rashford, Josh.
because Rashford
I know
has
you're going to
showed
put
you
up a
that
shield.
he fits
What do you mean, Josh, that he fits?
in the system of the manager.
No. Why?
He
Because he
has
scored
played
two
two
goals?
roles and he has been okay.
Because he scored a brace last time?
No, he's
Zaxi,
played
also
in
one
two
would say the
different
same.
roles. He's played in two different roles, and he has showed you that he's okay. He can manage to adapt to play for this manager, whereas Ganacho has struggled to even keep the ball at his feet.
I
But
would
I
say the
know that
same goes
is
for Rashford.
yeah, that will be played. I mean, the manager will play that out of him. But for me, as a player, I don't see staying at the. Sorry, I don't see doing well in this system. Though I know he's a player who is going to stay at the club because of his age and all the history, and he's a fantastic player. He's a fantastic player.
Well, Sinan says let Ashworth go. He was interfering with Amarim's work. Well, There you go, Sinan. You have it. He has already left. Josh, what have you observed in the last ever since Amorim took over from the Ipswich game? I can give you mine, especially in
They,
terms of from watching the matches. The three key priorities for Amorim are clear. According to me, I think 120%. I add that 20 extra, even if it doesn't exist. 120%. We need a left back. A left wing back, a natural left wing back. Of course, I mean, capable of delivering quality crosses and influencing at the in the attack, Josh, or influencing the attack. And of course, we also physical dominant left CB, which maybe which explains why Amarim is interested in the kid Godwin Kukonki, because remember he's a CB and is left-footed. Maybe again he sees, especially giving a reference. We saw what happened at Nottingham Forest, how those huge players were bullying Lisandro Martinez. He needs competition there, and of course a creative playmaker for the left-sided number 10 role, Josh.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
agree with
yeah.
you when you say Garnacho. Of course, you don't want to say it. Rashford, those two are lacking in that position, Josh. And I think we need to do better. We need to get someone who's very good there.
Me, why I pick Ganacho, because you know, when you're playing in those 10 roles, you must be comfortable with the ball. Ganacho is not comfortable with the ball. I mean, he wants to run where there is no path. He's just running into dark alleys and doing very hopeless things on the pitch. But I would prefer someone who
Mad.
can, who is level-headed, who can take care of the ball in that part of the pitch. But there are so many things that for players, if you say that this player or the other player, it would be a lie, because most of the players at Manchester United are struggling in the system. There are very few who are not, and the ones who are not struggling are at the back. It's only one player as a left wing back playing out of position in Diogo Dallo who is struggling, but the rest seem to be fine.
No, not everyone
So
is fine.
for me,
But
the
I
guys
like the
that
partnership of Ugat and Mino. I mean, it
Mino,
worked
oh
well, but
Mino,
for
Mino.
depth, technically skilled midfielders with mobility is also necessary. And I don't see Mino
Mino
there.
lacks the
But he's a player that
mobility.
is still growing. You know, his development is still
He
early.
can
He
never
still has
increase
time.
on his pace.
Yeah, his pace is an issue. That I do agree.
Yeah,
His pace is really an issue.
and we are lacking in intensity. All the games that we've played, apart from maybe the game we played against Bodo Glimt, but that's because the opposition gave us a game. They gave us a game. They were quite intense.
Mm.
But we've been lacking a bit in intensity and stuff like that. And for this system to flourish, you must be on your toes.
Well, I don't know who you have in mind when it comes to. I think we talked about him last time. Left wing back. I see Davis and Kakez. I don't know if that's how we pronounce the name, but I like the player.
Yeah, Kakse.
Josh, why you shaking? Yeah,
I, I, I,
anyway,
I,
that's
I,
it. Why are you shaking
me,
your
I don't
head? You
want
don't
to
like him.
buy
You're not a fan.
average players anymore.
I don't think. Do you remember when Klopp got Robertson? Was he from Hull City? Everyone poured water on him. Josh, they called him average. He turned out to be one of those best players.
Yeah,
Why are you laughing?
he's a
You're
very
laughing
good
at the
mediocre.
Josh and Isaac energy. You need momentum for the upcoming matches, if not for the comfort, just in case of a win. Well, we are still working on the win. We are still working on the win. Things are not going so
Yeah.
good for us. We are still working for the win and hoping we win very soon, although we play against Man City. So it's very tricky. It's very, very tricky. I actually see us just losing the next two games, Man City and Tottenham Hotspurs, because those are the matches that we have.
We won't lose Spurs.
That's what you said. They come at
Yeah,
our
but
own in our own house and thrashed
yeah,
us
but
3-0.
yeah, the referee had something to do with that. But now that
No.
they've sacked David Coot, at least the referees will think twice.
By the way, yeah, he has been sacked. Josh, how about Braithwaite as your left CB?
No, 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 no.
What? Who?
He's a good player.
Diallo exposed. Diallo
No,
exposed him.
he's a good player, but no, 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 no.
You don't want him.
I told you, me, I don't want to buy mediocres anymore. I
How
would
about
rather.
Castello Lukeba?
By the way, by
Castello
mediocres, I
Lukeba.
don't mean that I don't know your name. I mean, it could be a player that I've never seen, but I want a proper football. I don't want those things of Smanyikakze.
Josh, how about Castello Lukeba, the one that plays for Leipzig? He's very good. He can play as a center back, and again, actually, he's a left-footed center back. 21 years old. I've watched him play. I think around 4 games. He's also a good
Yeah,
player.
nice. For as long
The
as
only,
they're the top players.
Josh, I'm thinking about left-footed.
Ignacio.
He's also good. He's also good. Josh, I'm thinking about a creative playmaker for the left sided number 10 role. What do you think about Javi Simons?
No. Xavi Simons has the right energy for the system, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Eze?
No, not at all. Not even thinking about it.
Man, you just have bad, you just have bad energy. So, who are your options, Josh? Or it's too early right now?
Very early, very early.
Nelson says, my observation is the rotation of the first team selection has brought a lot of tensions onto the players. You can see it on the pitch when they make mistakes and look at the touchline. They just know they are coming out or next next game they are being benched. I agree with you. I think
I
Ten Hag.
know.
Oh my God, no! I think Ruben Amorim needs to find his trusted starting 11. Just
No, he
regardless,
has it. He has it. It's just
I
that
know.
he does not want players to get injured, so he keeps rotating them.
Well, it might
But
cost
he
him,
has
Josh.
his. It is
As you've
costing
seen,
us.
Nelson
It
has
is
given a very
costing
good,
us.
valid point.
It is costing us, but he doesn't mind because for him it's about the performance, and he wants all the players to be fit enough. So when he calls you out, you can be able to. When he calls you on, you can be able to perform.
Yes, a friend of mine has sent me a message on WhatsApp. Who's watching? Thank you, by the. He says, uh, "Man, you guys, how much did Hoyland and Zaxi cost? With that money, we could have brought a top level forward." Then you mentioned Ken Bayan, City, Haaland. He's just giving example: Mbappe, Madrid, Barcelona, Lewandowski, Lautaro Martinez, Inter, Chelsea's Palmer, Salah, and we bet on those two.
Those are just dreams that can never happen because the players he's talking about came to the club 3 seasons apart.
Mm.
3 seasons apart. That means you could never have had that amount of money to buy the player that you wanted. Yeah, Eric Ten Hag told you he preferred to have a Hurricane, but the club could not get that deal over the line, so we got Rasmus Højlund. And at the time, Rasmus Højlund came in because the club was convinced they needed a younger player who will have value for money. So the intent of the club already under Ten Hag was to build. So the building phase started then. So when they get another player at 23 for 30 million, a striker for 30 million in Joshua Zagzi, that is a steal because the same player they would have gotten maybe Dominic Solanke. But Joshua Zagzi is a better footballer.
Well, Dominic is scoring goals, Josh.
Yeah, but unless you don't know what you bought. But
Although,
we bought a
although I
facilitator.
think although I think he's too costly. We bought a facilitator. Anyway,
And at
we
34
just
million, not 50. If Dominic Solanke costs 50
65.
million,
65.
If Dominic Solanke costs 65 million, what do you think an average striker with Premier League experience like Ollie Watkins would have cost?
I think he's within that region, Josh,
You
as
see,
well.
and
And
we
again,
didn't
not to
have.
forget his English. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but we didn't even have the money to do that such deals because
Where's
we
the,
had.
there's Yokorez. It looks like there's rumor that he might follow Amorim next season. In the summer. There's
Yeah, that
Yokorez.
one.
In fact,
That rumor
there's
will
also
not go
rumor that they've
away
already
until
started
after. That
negotiating
rumor will
until
not go away all summer.
it's going to be around. But
Yeah.
just who do you have in mind? At least I know with the players. I mean,
Yokeres.
attackers only. Yeah.
Yeah. Musiala.
That
Yeah,
is
those are the players that I want. I
that is
want
a
Musiala to
long, long,
play
long
in
stretch.
as the other 10. Then I want maybe Tio Hernandez, maybe Alfonso Davis as the left wing back.
Tio is okay. Alfonso
Then I
will be
need a
superb
midfielder. I need
if
a
he comes on a
midfielder, so
free.
we have to cash in on Kobe
We actually
Mino.
need two midfield. What we have to cash in? I don't think it's going to be easy to cash in on Kobe Maino.
Exactly. Even Ganacho. It won't be easy to cash in on Ganacho. So we
Any
leave
kid
them,
that comes from the academy, it's always very, very hard. It's
especially
always
if they're
very
good
hard.
footballers.
Mm. Ganacho is a good footballer. I don't know what's happening to him. I don't know. Maybe, as you said, is his inflated ego that makes him think that he's Cristiano Ronaldo. I think that is
Yeah,
a bit hard, but
and the system is beating him.
the system. Oh, Josh, I also
Yeah,
have. Do you
because
remember
he's
at one
used
point
to just
Ganacho played as a? Mm,
he's used to running into dark alleys from one wing to the other, headless chicken. But now he has to use his head. He has to think. He has to make the right movements. He has to come back and collect the ball. He has to make a few touches, interplay with teammates. Those are things that are very difficult for him.
I think he should be tried out again because one game I remember there is a game he played as the wing back. Maybe he should, Josh. But the
We can't
problem I would be
always.
worried we would swallow goals. We already have
No,
an attacker in
our manager
Ahmad
does
Diallo.
not play like that. He does not use attackers on the left wing.
Yeah, he only uses them on the right, and that's why we have Diallo. That's why we have Diallo. But I'm trying to
And
look at
Diallo
stuff
is a
now.
star.
Diallo is a star. He good things. We need the only problem is these players don't even notice it to push him in front. To go ahead and score. Put up the pressure. I remember in the game you were saying they should start giving the yellow games or rather balls, but they were not until those substitutions, until Mazarawi came on. That's when he got into the game. In fact, that's when even we
Actually,
scored the second goal.
I think it is Fernandez. Fernandez, when Rashford came on, and they
Yeah,
switched positions, and Fernandez went to the left. Then it became easier for him to switch the ball to the right.
once again, thank you so much for tuning in, Josh and Isaac. Yeah, before we round up, we are looking at player development under Robin Amarim. Earlier on, we're looking at the sacking of Dan Ashworth. Was it worth it? Well, Josh argued
100%.
100%. I think you can see saying uh, it was worth it. He should have been fired long term. And the fact that he even dreamt of bringing Southgate to manage Man United, that's when I also gave up. That
And
alone
the guy
scared me,
who
Josh.
is telling you he's tired of football, he needs a sabbatical. You want to throw him back at United.
Well, Josh, I'm looking at the strikers in Manchester United could line up for this. There's Omar Mamouche. There's Victor
Mamouche,
Boniface. Yeah,
the
Mamouche.
Egyptian.
There's Victor
Now that's
Boniface.
a
There's
proper
Victor Osimhen.
footballer. Who?
Victor Osimhen. Osimhen
Osimhen.
and Boniface, Victor Boniface.
Those are dreams. I don't think we're going to buy a player unless we are letting Rasmus
Os-
Højlund go.
Osimhen, would you be okay with the Nigerian joining?
No,
You wouldn't want him.
we can't afford him.
No, Josh, maybe we can.
We can't.
I think we
You
can.
see, when you have Rasmus Højlund at
Mm.
21, Zagzi at 23, and you bring Osimhen, Osimhen is your target man. Bad guy, bad guy. But the fee and ADL, the money that ADL wants for him.
I think with Osimhen, when it comes to the fee, shouldn't be an issue because we understand Napoli. They fell out with Napoli, and
But
he's
he's
a bit
on
cheap.
loan.
You see how much he's on loan? Yeah, correct. But Napoli are going to let him go for a cheaper price than letting him go for free.
Yeah, but
They're no longer on
it
good
will still
terms.
be difficult.
The only problem I have with them or with such players is the amount of money that comes with the wages. That is why I'm also worried about Alfonso Davis. I think he would be a very, very great addition to the club, but the money, the wages that he's going to come
See,
with.
now that guy of yours you're refusing. Okay, by the way, this is not factual, but that guy of yours, Dan Ashworth, that you're crying over, you can see that when they would talk when they talked about the recruitment strategy, he was telling you of bringing people like Akze as wing backs. He was
Kaxi, you
telling
don't like Kaxi.
he was telling no, I do like him at Bournemouth.
How about Josh Wing? Yeah. Bongo. How about this Wolves player?
Nori.
Mm.
Nori is
He's good,
good.
Josh.
So
Josh,
is
he's
Kakze.
good.
Kakze is also good. I don't know if I'm
And
butchering the guy's name, but he's also good.
Bournemouth are having
But I would
currently.
prefer
We
to
saw
have
them come
players
back.
like Alfonso Davis, as in United should stop that mediocrity. We should stop buying those Atisimani, Oli Watkins is good. Those are things for us now.
Just leave us now. Come on,
Okay, we
they're
should buy
doing
proper
better.
players. Should buy proper
Yeah,
players.
they are looking at.
We have
From what I
enough.
hear,
The edge that we do have is good. We have enough talent at the club. Let them mature with proper footballers in there who can give them experience. And I
from what
think
I
Casemiro
understand,
will leave,
Josh,
Eriksen will leave, so we shall have to get another midfielder. I hope that we get
it
the
would be
most
really nice if they
energetic
left.
midfielder. We get a
It would be
player like
very, very good if they left.
yeah, we get a player with the engine of Caicedo or Papa Sa.
It would be super nice if they left. Comment section. There are only two. Let me put it up for you, Josh. There are only two strikers that I would wish to come to you: Hurricane and Gyökeres. Haaland is a good striker, though. He scores. Of course, Haaland is top. Hurricane. Josh, by the way, likes Hurricane.
I don't just like that guy.
I
I
know.
love that guy. You know,
Mourinho
Ed
cried
Woodward
for
cost
him.
us the Premier League. We would have won the Premier League already. But
Josh.
he refused to buy Hurricane. It doesn't
So
matter
you
that
think
Tottenham doesn't want. Just keep knocking on the door until they want.
so? But anyway, he's already going. He's at Bayern, and he's still by the scoring goals. For those of you that don't know, he's scoring goals. Gyökeres, yes, 100%. I would love him to join. The problem is Joshua Zirkzee, unless he's going on loan, because that would mean they would have to sell him or they would have to loan him, either Joshua Zirkzee or Rasmus.
But the way we play, no, Gyökeres plays with Rasmus Højlund. Those are the two
Mm-hmm.
strikers. Then Zagzi, Fernandez, Rashford, they all play in the 10 roles. Four
Okay, I
players.
get it. The two
Yeah.
strikers, yeah.
Two
The
strikers
two
and four
strikers.
players
Okay,
in the 2
substituting
10.
one another. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's wait and see. In the midfield, though, Josh, I don't see many options for Man United, but we
That's
definitely
why
need
we need to
fresh
buy
legs.
proper footballers
Two
there.
I
And
agree. Yeah,
Mamouche, actually, if you got Mamouche, I think you would let any Rashford, Garnacho, what those ones would go.
I haven't watched a lot, but I know I watched. I think
You
around two
watched
games. He
him. You
looked
watched
really,
him
really. Two
at
games.
the
He looked
Nations
really
Cup.
nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He looked really.
He's a buddy guy.
He's someone. He's someone who has something in for any fans or for any team that he joins. He'll be a great addition. And about the defenders, Josh, the CBs, because we see if Harry
The
Maguire is to
CBs
leave.
were good. The CBs were good.
No, I
Just
mean,
let Maguire go. Let Lindelof go.
John Evans go,
Jenny Evans go. Then get in
Luke
two
Shaw.
more. Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, who will let him? That guy just has to run down his contract.
Well, I think his contract expires next month, rather this summer.
I
No,
hope they don't give him a new one. You
I
know,
think it
people
does.
like Dan
Him,
Ashworth would
Casemiro,
suggest that he's English. They give him
Lindelof,
another contract.
Maguire. By the around five players. Also, Ericsson. I think all their players. I'm not so sure
I
about Luke
hope
Shaw.
no
I'll check
one
it out, but I
even
think it
starts
also does.
talks with people like Harry Maguire.
Well, no one, no one. But do not be surprised if Ratcliffe is the ruthless
No,
man.
Dan Ashworth has gone. Dan Ashworth has gone. I'm sure
So
that
you
guy
know,
would strike a deal for Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire.
to stay.
Yeah.
Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure, Josh. Real quick, Josh, the games that happened over the weekend. By the way, the Merseyside Derby was postponed due to heavy rains or poor, not heavy rains, but poor weather, if I can put it like that.
From
So
Dada.
Everton and Liverpool. Unfortunately, that's why we wanted Aziz to come on to tell us more about that. But yep, they missed out on that, so the game was postponed. Tottenham Hotspurs and Chelsea from 2-0 to 4-2. Josh Cole Palmer again, the player you said you remember what you talked about him. You remember what you said
What
about
did
Cole
I
Palmer.
say?
Well, you said he's a penalty guy. All the
Yeah, he
goals
scored two
he has
pens
around.
again. Buddy guy. Was I lying? Was I lying? Was I lying? He scored his two penalties straight, buddy guy. And Carragher says he doesn't think he has seen a better player in the last 18 months in football. I don't know if he
Uh,
doesn't watch.
3-4, 3-4. But the Spurs player, what did he say? He hasn't seen a better player.
Yeah, than Cole Palmer in the
Oh,
last 18 months. I don't know what Vinicius Jr. is a vendor. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he meant in the Premier League. I don't know. But Salah also sells shirts in the Premier League.
and Haaland,
And Erling Haaland, I think is a
he works in the
Viking.
fish market.
Yeah. But Cole
That is
Palmer
funny.
is good. He's good. He's really good. He's that talent. He's a joy to watch. But he scores penalties. He's a good guy.
Well, your guy scored. I know you said you wouldn't care even if you won the Ballon d'Or, but I just
Yeah,
wanted to,
Jadon.
to tell you,
Now, you see,
Jadon
yesterday
Sancho
when
scored.
Jadon Sancho played for Chelsea, I really saw why we should not bring back Jadon Sancho. He should actually
Mm,
score more for Chelsea, so Chelsea takes him.
mm.
The team was working so
Just to accommodate
much,
him.
not just to accommodate him. He was irrelevant. I mean, he could flourish.
Well,
He could
11
flourish.
goals, 8 goal contributions for Chelsea, Josh.
No, first listen. He could
Actually,
flourish.
6 goals, 6 goal contribution. 1 goal against Spurs, 1 goal Southampton assist, Brighton assist, West Ham assist, Bournemouth, and is it Heidenheim? I don't remember that other player, rather team from the Conference
Yeah,
League.
but I told you Chelsea plays like a high school football team. They score goals for fun. So I mean, a player with the quality of Jadon Sancho, you're going to assist every now and then. But the point I was trying to make is Jadon Sancho looks so lazy on the pitch that so many players have to work so hard. I mean, he can flourish when he's in his zone, waits for the ball, picks it here and there. But at no point did I see him off the ball. By the way, he had a good game, but he had a good game when
Yeah,
he was on the ball.
I'm looking at someone said Jadon Sancho has 6 goal contributions. Yet Rashford has 10 goal contributions this year. Yet he's one of the most abused players.
By you.
Bruno has 14 goal contributions. Starboy Garnacho has 12 goal, 12, Josh, 1 to 12 goal contributions. Rashford 10 and Amad Diallo 9 goal contributions.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you keep firing and throwing stones at Garnacho, but he keeps on proving. Now, do not be surprised if
He
he
has
comes
never,
off
he has,
with a
by the
brace
way, I'm
in our
just
next
telling
match
you,
against
I'm just
Victoria
telling,
Pleasant.
no, he can score goals. He can score goals. My problem with Ganacho is not goals. My problem with Ganacho is his head. He needs to use his
Mhm.
head much more.
He needs to think. He needs to do the right decisions.
Yeah.
I think he will. I'm looking at something. I'm still looking one of the statements that Sir Jim Ratcliffe put out, where he said our antenna wasn't perfect at United, and we made 1 or 2 errors, but they are a lot better than they would have been if we would not we had not done Nice and Lausanne.
Nice.
Then he goes on, Nice, yeah, Nice. Then he goes on to say there's a major change to come to achieve elite status. If you shy away from the difficult decisions, nothing much is going to change. So the
He's
two
not
errors, I don't
scared,
know whether
Raffle.
the two errors,
I,
I don't know whether it's in appointing uh Eric, or rather extending Eric Ten Hag's contract, rather not firing him and having to pay that much amount of money in terms of compensation, 15 to 17 million, and also Dan Ashworth. I don't know whether those are the two areas that he was talking about, Josh,
yeah,
because it's funny
most
if
likely.
that's how he wants to put it. It's very, very funny. Then the other one, he made some controversial statements. I'm trying to look out for them. He also he said, I don't make the decisions, but I like to feel comfortable that we are making the correct decisions. I do get involved in most of the big decisions, but ultimately, so that I can understand the rationale behind them. That is,
Yeah.
Omar Bereda is impressed with his work on Ruben Amorim around. Omar Bereda is working 24/7. You remember Amorim is his guy. He's working 24/7 and he doesn't want to disappoint. Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in,
We shall
Josh and
fire
Isaac.
him.
Who? They'll fire him.
We shall fire him. He had better do his job right. This is not time for
I,
joking around.
I think he will, Josh. I think he will. Oh, he's about to.
By the way,
He's trying to get things right.
the Man City case, I think, has been finalized. So we await the verdict.
I don't think they might be fine, but I don't see any points deduction. Did you
Just buy
see
some
or did you read
champagne.
what did
Just
you
buy
read
some
what
champagne.
Mourinho said
Yeah.
after Pep Guardiola compared himself to him? Then he said he took a small dig at him and said, although I have 6 years, 3. Mourinho, the money is came out and started, yes, that is true. But again, with me, everything was right. I didn't have this, trying to throw a dig at him because of the 150 charges. Up to now,
Yeah.
he still claims he should have won that trophy where Man City won.
Just buy some champagne. It's coming home.
Uh, your boys. Well, Josh,
Yeah.
it looks. Sorry, before we sign out, it looks like Ferdinand. He said they were ruthless with stuff that had been there for years, and I hope they are as ruthless with the crap players that they are, the ones that have been there for a long time or are not good enough. Throw them out.
Yeah, they will. The problem is it's not as easy as throwing out the stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, the players, it is not easy for you. The staff, there is are so many people who want to do that job, and it does not include a very different financial obligation. Whereas for players, I mean, you can't throw out 11 players at a go.
yeah, you can't. By the way, Josh, Man United is interested in Manchester United are interested in Bayern Munich's Conrad, and
Conman.
that by the no Conrad. Leave the French.
Eh,
Is it Conrad Lemar? You know, I'm not so good
mm.
with the spellings, rather with the pronunciation.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But
The
no,
one
no,
that
no,
plays
that's
as a
Lama.
midfielder, right?
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
plays
Okay.
as as a midfielder and as a
Lima.
right back also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
What, you
good.
don't rate him so high?
No, he's good. He's good. I like the German left back. I forget his name.
Who the German left back?
Mm.
Uh, who? Nico?
Nico who?
Nico Skulls.
Maybe.
Uh, I'm reading it. I'm not so sure, Josh. I'm not so sure. Of course, your boy said had to say this about about Dan Ashworth. I'm really shocked, and it's going to need a lot of explaining its statement that the club has put. Sorry, I'm really shocked, and it's going to need a lot of explaining. The statement the club has put out is really poor. He was talking about Dan Ashworth's signing, rather sacking.
That's Gary Neville.
Yeah,
He
that's
wants
Gary Neville.
content. He wants content for his media
Overlap.
duties. Yeah, he wants content for overlap. So he wants to be the one who knows the news. That is what the club
Honestly,
has told you. What did
but
he
but
expect?
honestly,
He
there is
needed
no
an
way I would have.
explanation.
There is no way.
The
There is
club
no
owes
way.
him no duty to explain to him.
Exactly. You can't tell me the person is backing wanted to bring Eddie Howe, Marco Silva, Thomas Frank, Graham Potter, Southgate. Well, once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Josh and Isaac, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. It's been a long, long ride. Thank you for staying in. Yeah, you see, Josh is flexing. I guess he's crying. Josh, you need to do exercises.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
told me
yeah,
every
yeah.
Sunday you always go out to your league and play football.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I've taken a long time because I mean the last time I
And
was
we all
there,
know that Sunday football.
I scored a few goals, and there are people who are still mad. So I'm giving them some time to recover.
Anyhow, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Josh and Isaac. Catch you tomorrow, probably same time, but surely tomorrow. It's already actually midnight here. Catch you today. I don't know about you guys where you are. Subscribe, turn on the notifications, and we are signing out. Peace.